says those kind of cars can become weapons on the road.
To make sure if you drive an ultra-high-powered vehicle, you have to do compulsory training and have that accreditation on your licence. And it will be illegal now to turn traction control and other automated safety systems off on those sorts of ultra-high-powered vehicles.
The state road toll has risen again. A man has died in hospital after being hit by a car at Pasadena last month. The 82-year-old passed away this morning. His death is the 62nd life lost on SA roads this year, compared to 40 at the same time last year. State Liberal MP Nick McBride has quit the party, saying it's in disarray. Mr McBride, who was elected in 2018, says the Libs haven't learnt the lessons of the 2022 election and are destined for another long stint in opposition. He's told FIVEAA he believes he can achieve more for his southeast electorate of MacKillop as an independent.
I want better outcomes for the seat of MacKillop. It's a very, very safe seat. It's perhaps a seat that gets ignored by both parties and probably has for maybe even in a decade.
Police and the E-Safety Commissioner are trying to identify the person responsible for leaking explicit photos of AFL players online. The file, which contained photos of more than 45 current and former players, has since been deleted. Players are being offered welfare support by the league. Childcare providers say they're happy to work with the consumer watchdog amid concerns fees are rising faster than inflation. An ACCC report finding childcare fees have increased 32% over the past 4 years. The sector says they're having to cope with increased costs and staff shortages. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says providers will be penalised if fees become too exorbitant.
We want to monitor. We have tasked the ACCC with ensuring that no one takes advantage of the fact that we are putting in increased support.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Meet Josh Rochelle and Zach Butters at Sports Card World's Trade Day on Sunday, July 16th in Regent Arcade.
It's selection night in the AFL. Junior Rioli is available for Port's clash against the Suns this weekend at Adelaide Oval. Round 17 gets underway tonight. Sydney take on Richmond at the MCG, and the Swans will be boosted by the return of Lance Franklin. The third Ashes test starts tonight. The Aussies are bracing for a hostile reception at Headingley as the debate surrounding Johnny Bairstow's dismissal at Lords continues. And Aussie Jai Hindley will be wearing the yellow jersey tonight for Stage 6 of the Tour de France after victory on Day 5. Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
G'day there. Expect a few showers throughout the afternoon, so take it easy on damp roads. Look out for crash at Paralawi, Waterloo Corner Road near Whites Road. Another collision, this one's at Fullerton, Glen Osmond Road at Fullerton Road with a few slight delays. And Paradise Road's closed due to a boost. Watermain Gorge Road near Silks Road, speeds at 25. Cameras the Savo, Tapley's Hill Road, Seaton and Rosetta Streets at West Croydon. It's DIY July and Bunnings can help you get it done for less. Head in store or check out the Bunnings website for project inspiration and advice this DIY July. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEAA.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Showers this afternoon. Showers becoming windy tomorrow 15. Windy with showers on Saturday 16. And a shower or two Sunday also 16. Right now it's 13 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Sophia's Law given new life. A family's heartbreak making our roads safer. A man facing court accused of taking a car from Clearview with a child inside. New facilities for both grassroots and top netball in Adelaide. The SA Stars caught up in the AFL nude scandal. Plus how to double what your solar panels earn right now. I'm Kate Collins. The full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
The FIVEAA Sports Show. Sam Tugwell and Warren Tredrea.
It is 5 minutes after 4 on this very wet Thursday. Hopefully you've stayed dry throughout the afternoon. Sam Tugwell with Warren Tredrea as we get through to the end of the week. Rowie and Timmy G back on Monday. Tredders, good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, I'm better than all those footballers.
Oh, we shouldn't laugh.
It's not funny.
It isn't funny.
No, it's horrific.
But people making light. It is a very serious issue at the moment in the AFL, this one.
Yeah, and it's people who are catching up, former players, current players, premiership stars, Brownlow medalists caught up in a, what would you call it? How would you, nude pic Yeah, Google Drive that's gone viral.
Yeah, it's not a gotcha moment in any way, but it is a bit of a reality check for those who use online.
Yeah, and it's
in this digital
embarrassing,
age.
it's unfortunate, it's also a breach of trust, it's disgusting. And as a dad to 5 kids, I had a chat to my boys this morning. Well, Dad, you don't need to talk. I said, no, this is the risk. This is the real risk for anyone who, whether some are fake, some appear to be very real, and I've seen a couple of pictures. My life's not better after that. And the reality is, the discussion you have is don't take any intimate photos of yourself, whether you think it's a trusted source or not.
And sharing it online that's the risk nowadays. Everything can go global like that.
Yeah, well, as we said, in a totally different instance, in a totally different story, the Johnny Bairstow fiasco. Everyone's saying he did nothing wrong. Well, there's a digital footprint of all of us out there, with AI and everything that's happening in this world that people are starting to understand. But the digital footprint in the Ashes was that, hang on, people are criticising Australia for being sore losers and not in the spirit of the game. We had evidence via the digital footprint that Johnny Bairstow had done that to Australia. Well, this instance is a shocking instance. It's a massive breach of trust. It's a big story, and it's probably all we'll talk on it, but it's also in a situation where it's a bit vile, a bit disgusting, and it opens up personal lives that should never be opened up in a public forum.
And as much as you don't want to blame the victims as much as they'd be hurting right now.
Absolutely.
But they've made a mistake, and there's going to be, obviously, price paid for them in their personal lives. But also, the person who shared this, or the way this has gotten out, someone will pay pretty heavily.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there'll probably be police are investigating, my understanding, the AFL's got. And so it should be, because, you know, we look at revenge porn that's got out. There's laws against that now. But this situation is, not only embarrassing, it's disgusting, and it breaches a lot of trust. And as you say, if you don't want ever to be caught in this situation, don't take a pic.
No, exactly right. Jimmy Bartell, Brad Scott and Sam Mitchell, 3 big names in our competition, have spoken about this today. Have a listen to what they had to say.
I hope this is the last we hear of it until someone is charged and dealt with, and it doesn't get the oxygen that they're seeking. It's grubby, and it's part of the new laws regarding revenge porn and everything else.
I think the whole thing's unsavoury, and it's just a good reminder for everyone just to be careful out there, because once you publish something, it's there for a long time.
Our head of footy, Rob McCartney, spoke to the players, gave them an update about what information was out there, and they had a good discussion about what it means and what the current outlook is. And, I was pleased that none of our current players were involved in it, but it's certainly a challenging period.
No question about it, challenging. So the AFL's offered welfare support to the players who have been involved and will continue to work closely with their clubs. They understand as well there is a great interest in this and whether the update will come soon or not, but they just want to reinforce that the images have been shared illegally and without consent, and so if you have seen them, do not share them.
Yep.
It's just not fair.
No, absolutely.
In this instance. Let's talk footy teams, because they come out tonight, Crows and Port, with 2 big games this weekend for their seasons. Let's start with Port Adelaide, perhaps, because there's a bit of interest around this, and we were down at training this afternoon, Treaders, just had a little sneaky peek.
Yeah, well, they pick A's and a B's, and we saw it a couple of weeks ago at the Crows training. James Borlase was wearing the A's jumper, so the team playing with the previous 21 or 20 at that stage didn't play that week, so not always right. But
never correct.
In the 2s, Vicentini, so it looks like he may, not yes, but may find himself out of the team. Narkle and Bonner were in the 2s team.
Right, yes.
In the main team with Travis Boak and Ollie Wines and Butters and Rosie and Charlie Dixon, who we'll speak to in his 200th, was Hayes. Sam Hayes, the ruckman.
Yes.
So it looks like he might be the direct change for Scott Lysett. Rioli back after a personal break, and Lockie Jones, which is a big show of faith for him. Form was brilliant. Got that cracked jaw how many weeks ago?
4 weeks,
maybe
I reckon
about
now,
4 or 5 weeks ago. Comes straight back in. That's a big show of faith, and they want him in their team.
Certainly will be. It's also a great week for Charlie Dixon, who's going to be on the show this tonight at around 4:30. His 200th game. Let's have a listen to the captain, Tom Jonas.
I'd love to be out there with him on Saturday night, but if not, I know the boys will play the right way for a big milestone.
It is a big milestone for a big fella who's... It's amazing he's been at the club for so long now.
Yeah, he's been big.
Yeah.
He's been a good recruit. I think he was a free agency recruit many years ago. He left the Suns after 65 games, 94 goals. They'd probably put their time into Tom Lynch at the time, who was one of the best forwards in the comp. He's been at Port since 2016. He's coming up for his 135th game, and he'll play 200. You know, he's carried some back and knee niggles. He's been an influential part for Port Adelaide. Really a barometer when Port's up and going and Charlie's up and going.
Yeah.
And when he's angry, probably plays his best. We'll talk about that. And also, too, Ken Hinkley got him over from the Gold Coast when he was there. So they've got a pretty special bond too. But for Port Adelaide, he's a big influence when he's up and fit. We've seen him challenge with those things. We've seen him influence games while sore. And it was sort of heart in the mouth a couple of weeks ago before the bye with the Geelong game. He was limping.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, please don't irritate that knee again.
And he
but
played
then
on.
last week, played on it, then had a week off, then played last week against the Bombers and looked really, really good. So we'll talk to him a little bit about that. But 200 games is, I think it was a few years ago now, the percentages might have changed. I think only 3% of people who enter the system get 200 games.
It's pretty impressive.
It's a big achievement for a big unit.
And he's done plenty in that time for Port Adelaide. From the Crows side of things, very quiet on the selection front. Not a whole lot of awareness around, and a bit of mystery at the moment as to what they're going to do around filling the role of Jordan Butts, who we know will be the one out
Has
at
to
least.
be Borlase, doesn't it?
You'd think so. You'd think after what we saw last week, as you mentioned before.
Not just last week, but his sample form.
Oh, correct.
He's terrorised opposition.
Oh,
in
he
defence.
has.
He
There's
marks
been
everything.
two
and
names.
he's good kick.
Two
like
names
his old
keep
man
popping up.
Daisy. Good
Oh,
kick
he was.
of footy.
Two names keep popping up, though. It's Borlase or Mark Keane.
Yeah.
Which way do you think the Crows go?
I'm going Borlase because I know his old man.
I think
No,
most would love the story.
To be honest, I watched them both play against North Adelaide last week, and both were impressive. Under the pump early, when North kicked 6 goals to not much in the first quarter. I think it's 6 goals to 1 by memory.
Yep.
But they both just look so assured over the footy. Yes, the next standard is another level, but I think Adelaide's found some players.
Is there a difference between them in any way? Question without notice?
Yeah, I think Borlase is more versatile.
Yeah.
So he could play that floating in defensive role and then could defend one-on-one and then free up a bit more like Duday. That's probably my take.
Yeah, because they are without Duday and will be without Butts as well, so they're going to need that.
But the Butts option is what they're after, and is that a lockdown or not?
Absolutely. Here's Matthew Nix speaking on Essendon and, of course, the challenge ahead.
Is the ability to remain composed when we have those opportunities. We're really looking forward to this challenge because there's not many bigger. I mean, Essendon are playing great footy. They're one of the best teams moving the football, and Marvel sets up for that. You know, that's that sort of deck. So we're looking forward to that challenge.
So we'll speak to Scott Burns, the assistant coach of the Crows, later on in the program to get a bit of an idea as to which way they will fall with that selection ahead of today's, on Saturday's game, rather. Sunday's game? Sunday's game. 2:50. Goodness me. Every day's blending into one. But what is today is the Ashes third test, first day. And my goodness.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And we've just got a message through from the Unique Homestyle Foods text line. Guys, my cousin is in England, has told me to expect the unexpected at Headingley in the third test. England will be intimidating their home crowd in an effort to cause error after error. The crowd will be in a frenzy. Thanks for that from Adam, who sent that through. It's hard to ignore that. You know, what do we call it? Stumpgate? It's a new one.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be hot. But as we say, if the Aussies perform, get wickets early or get runs early if they're batting, that'll silence the opposition and that'll give you more bravado than anything.
It's gone wild because I read today Ricky Ponting is not going to attend, not because of the situation with the crowds and people, but he's got a family holiday, was booked well in advance, so he won't be there for the test as one of our Aussie
School
commentators.
holidays too in Victoria.
Is it? Yeah, well, it's not in Europe, I don't know. But in the commentary space for Sky Sports, still remaining our Aussies Mel Jones and Mark Taylor will be representing our country.
Glenn McGrath was there too on radio, so that'll be interesting.
They're increasing the security for our own commentary team.
Well, I can understand why, because if something happened, then your network, whether it's TV or radio, is going to be questioned because they haven't looked after their employee. But the English and Australian relationship isn't a physical one. It's a verbal sledging one.
It shouldn't be.
No, but it's not. I can't see it. Has it ever been a scrap?
I don't think so.
I can't remember in my time.
But this is the effect this whole week has had. We don't know what's coming tonight. We don't know what the frenzy that's been whipped up by the UK media in this last 5 days.
I've seen some instances. Piers Morgan, who is a mad cricket fan, English broadcaster, has had a debate with an Aussie journo, and not very often he gets silenced. He got silenced.
He did.
But the point from the Aussie journo, I think it's Peter Lahore, said, I think you're just covering up for the fact that Bazball's not working and you're 2-0 down.
That's
and
right.
he didn't have an answer. But I think if the English are going to focus on Aussies being out of the spirit. I love the fact the Aussies just keep playing cricket.
Pat Cummins spoke today.
I've honestly got no idea. I don't think there's any discussion. It's out. I think if the shoe was on the other foot, I wouldn't be looking at the opposition. I'd be probably looking at our own batter and thinking that was pretty silly.
So he said, I would do it again. I love that.
It's easy for us Australians and Aussies to sit here, 20,000 miles or even more away. I don't know how far that is, but can you even make a case unless you're just got your blinkers on and you love your country?
Yep, that's about it.
Because this incident, whether it's the spirit of game or not, he walked out of the crease.
That's right.
Can't believe we're still talking about it.
End of story. Well, Joe Root wanted to put a full stop on it. This is what he said today.
What did he say?
I think it's time for everyone to move on and let's concentrate on this game now. I don't think it makes any difference to how we go and play this week. As I say, we've got a must-win game and we've got nothing to lose as a team. We'll just throw everything at this week and make sure we give ourselves the best chance in getting back into this series and playing our best cricket. That's all we can control now. That's all we can do. So almost you've got to draw a line under it at some point, some time.
All right, so he's taken the lead.
Prevails.
Well done, Joe.
That's why he's one of the best. He's been a brilliant English captain. He's now just playing in his own right. He's still a terror to get out. And don't think for any second that there's instances where certain people are saying certain things to take the deflection away from the actual performance. I think there's a little bit of that. I think what's going to sell papers, they go on that angle. Call the Australians cheats.
Yeah.
Feel hard done by. Blame someone else.
I wonder if they get more aggressive. I reckon they will. That Baz Ball's going to go to another notch tonight.
Baz Ball's all hot air.
It is, isn't it?
I think it is.
It is.
I think it's the greatest bit of promotion for a game.
It's entertaining.
What sells better, Baz Ball or boring Poms?
Well, that's so true.
And you know what? I love the fact they're taking the game on, but if you don't win, doesn't matter.
Cop it and play on.
Yeah.
And they have to. They've got to win the next 3 tests in order to be a chance.
Because if they go 3-zip, it won't be about whether the Aussies have appealed too many times or intimidated an umpire.
You lost 3 tests.
The narrative of the clickbait journalism is just going to turn from being attack Australia to eat our own.
Yeah.
And for Australia, we want them to eat their own.
We do. Anderson's been dropped. He won't play, which is massive. The 41-year-old. Mark Wood and Chris Wokes are in. How's this for a stat? Moeen Ali's back too, by the way.
His fingers are all right.
His finger's okay. It's repaired itself. Ollie Pope's out injured. Josh Tongue, the other bowler, has been left out of the team. So 4 pacemen, 1 spinner, and that spinner is Ali's going to play as a batsman as well. But Mark Wood and Chris Wokes apparently have played 40-odd tests, have never lost playing as a combo in the England cricket team.
Well, if you're going to rely on that, that's great.
No, that's exactly right. That's what they're hanging on to.
Yeah,
that's all they got.
How many times they played Australia?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't want to know. Don't care. It's 19 after 4.
Well, they've lost their last 2 series. I'm thinking not often.
Have you say on all that and more, 8223 0000. We're here till 7 o'clock. We have plenty on the show tonight. Caroline Wilson is back, which we're looking forward to. A big week for Caro as well.
Sends his regards.
Oh, yeah. Charlie Dixon to join us shortly. Scotty Burns from the Crows. The Premier, Peter Malinauskas, is going to join us also. The Thunderbirds have got themselves a new home, and we're hosting the grand final here in Adelaide next year, which is so exciting. Next year,
what
not this year.
Pete, what happened to this year?
Why can't we just have it this weekend?
Yeah, no one don't want it between Adelaide and Sydney.
Why would they? Makes no sense.
Come on, Pete, get some money out of your pocket and buy it for this year.
Charlotte Grant from the Matildas, Talia McGrath from our women's cricket team, Johnny Letts in the studio with the Melbourne Cup. We are locked and loaded for tonight, Treaders. We're going to be busy. 8223 0000. It's 20 after 4. Get on the line.
AFL legend Lethal Lee Matthews joins Rowie and Timmy G each week on The Sport Show to discuss all things AFL. Thanks to Costco Energy Group, leading specialists in solar power, air conditioning and home automation. Costco.com.au.
Great news for people on the move. Budget Car and Truck Rental have a new location, just north of the city at 354 North East Road, Clemzig. Open 7 days a week. So, if you're moving out or in, taking a load to the tip, or going on a big trip, you can do it all with Budget Car and Truck Rental. 7 metro locations, including their new site at Clemzig. Call 13 27 27. That's 13 27 27.
While man first walked on the moon, the Beatles' masterpiece White Album topped the charts. 55 years on, 21 sensational rock stars performed the White Album in concert, live and track by track. Featuring Chris Cheney, Phil Jamieson, Tim Rogers and Josh Pike. The White Album Concert. Festival Theatre Friday, September 8. On sale Friday. Book at Ticketek.
Well, I'm worried to say I'm not far off whacking L plates back on my car and anxiously sitting in the passenger seat. My daughter Hallie is going to sit her licence not too far away. Well, that's being a parent. That's our rite of passage, and I'm happy to delay. But the new drivers and their parents shouldn't be without RAA road service.
Yeah, good luck to you, Tredders.
Thanks.
RAA can be there, though, when you can't. It's comforting to know a quick call to RAA can get your kids back on the road sooner after a breakdown. Plus, we know the RAA road service applies to the individual no matter what car they're driving.
And that's the great thing about it, because standard road service for a year only costs around the same as 2 coffees a month.
That's good.
Well, I'm about 4 a day at the moment, so
Cut a
that is a
couple of
good
them.
investment. So for peace of mind on the road, plus member benefits and savings, search RAA Road Service. T's and C's apply. For all the info, go to raa.com.au.
Time is up. The absolute final deadline in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is midnight tonight. Don't miss your chance to live mortgage-free in the stunning $4 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize. It's what dreams are made of. Plus, there's a 1 in 15 chance of winning in over 13,000 prizes. Don't miss out. Get your tickets by midnight tonight and see full lottery details at homelottery.com.au today. Licence M14364.
Hi, I'm Peter Berkowitz from Berkowitz Furniture. When winter comes, there's nothing quite like enjoying time at home. So make home more comfortable and more stylish for less at the Berkowitz Winter Style Sale. You'll save up to 40% with heavily reduced end-of-season models. There's special pricing on all new orders too. With beautiful Australian furniture you can customise to your own impeccable style. Don't miss the final week of the Winter Style Sale at Berkowitz. We're a furniture family. Marland Homemaker Centre.
My new guy just gets why listening's important.
Hi, Anita.
Morning.
Ready for your hearing check?
Because our stores are run by local audiology professionals, they put your care first, which can make them rather popular. Specsavers, your care is our business.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
The FIVEAA Sports Show, Sam Tugwell and Warren Tredrea.
I think it'll be pretty frantic to start with. Yes, the crowd will get on to the Aussies, but that's as much because they're Aussies in England in the Ashes, and now the crowd have got something to go with.
Yeah, 24 after 4, Mark Nicholas ahead of the third test at Headingley. It's going to be full on tonight. We'll take your calls, 8223 0000. Best caller tonight, $100 Barrow Hotel Group voucher. That's a good feed or two, or
Absolutely,
three.
load up.
$100 for the
Snitties
Barrows.
galore.
How good's that? Here's your traffic.
Down roads for the drive this afternoon with the occasional shower, and look out for a burst water at Paradise. Roads closed there. It's Gorge Road near Stooks Road. Speeds out at 25 for the lane closed. Airbray burst water main, Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway, and busy Goodwood Road at Roses Street. That's due to works with the lane closed. Cameras on the drive home, President Avenue, Andrews Farm, and Phillip Highway at Elizabeth South. The King Living Winter Sale ends soon. Save up to 50% on selected Australian designed award-winning furniture. Sale ends soon. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hey, Tredders, remiss of me also to say, we've got Port Locker Room tickets to give away tonight.
Yes.
You
got me a couple.
I have. I've been listening.
Want to give away again?
Yeah, not for you, for you to give away.
Thanks.
The cue to call for tonight. You got to listen out for this.
Look at it go! Look at it go! What a bomb! Woo!
Timmy G with some of his best work. If you hear that, 8223 0055, have it ready on speed dial. You can have those 2 locker room tickets for this Saturday's game against the Suns. John at Sutherland Park, how are you?
I'm good, fellas. How are you?
Good, John.
Okay,
Besto.
I was at the golf club yesterday, and one of the lads who played district cricket for Third, doesn't matter about that, but he said, have a look at this. He's got a YouTube video of Johnny Bairstow stumping. It's a county cricket game. He's stumping, it looked like an Indian chap playing, I don't know what county it was. So someone's bowled a spinner, the batsman's let it go, he's got his bat raised in the air, and he's reached forward, and Bairstow's got the ball right next to the bails, waiting for the lad to lift his foot. And he goes 1 second, 2, 3, and as he's just getting his balance, he flicks the bails off.
Yeah, he's a hypocrite. Is that what we're trying to say, John?
So
I think
shocking
so. Yeah, and even Travis Heads, Travis Heads told a story as well about similar, saying, "What would you do?" He goes, "Mate, I'd take the bails off."
Absolutely.
So that's the digital footprint we're talking about. Once you say these things and do these things, people don't forget.
But the commentators were saying how stupid the batsman was and what a genius Johnny Bairstow was. And there's Joe Root hugging and kissing him.
Thank you, John. I have seen a lot of those this week.
I think this is called the cricket smoke bomb. It's like, look over there.
Yep.
We're 2-zip down.
Let's not talk about the way we're playing. Charlie Angaston, how are you?
Not too bad yourselves.
We're good.
Okay, I want to talk about the swing tackle that everybody's going on about.
Yep.
So you've got, say, a rover, okay, let's say an on-baller, who's going to tackle a ruckman. There's going to be resistance. When he grabs him, there's going to be resistance. One's trying to get him, you thought to get him on the ground. The other one is trying to hold himself up. And if it doesn't work, of course it goes down, hits his head. Can the umpire blow his whistle a bit earlier to stop that? Would that stop that?
Yeah, would I? I think, Charlie, perfect. I think they would. The issue, and I think a lot of people face it, and it's a long time since I've played. My last game was 2010, but I know when someone tries to tackle you, all I'm doing is I'm trying to get my arms up, get them free so you can handball and release.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you think, hang on, we're losing, hold it in, or take the tackle and take the time.
Yeah.
And if you can't get out of it, it's a really good tackler. So I think the sooner they did it, they throw the ball instantly up. Not the old who's the ruckman again. Throw it up.
Get it moving.
Mate, it's like the first thing you do to separate a melee. Throw the ball
Get the
up.
ball going. Yep.
So all in 20 seconds, blokes are like, I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm going to go get a kick. I think it's a perfect call, Charlie. I think exactly what you would do. And then you're not in a position where a bigger person or a smaller person, whoever it is fighting the tackle. Because as a player, the first thing you want to do if you're the tackler, you don't want them to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And if they start fighting you, you put more pressure on them. And that's when we're seeing bodies are moved, given to ground. As soon as a person gives up, you can't adjust instantly. You've got the force. It's not like, they've gone soft or limp, because that could be a trick to get their arms free again. And the first thing you're getting bashed on by your coach is don't let the tackle go.
Excellent call, Charlie. Right in the running for the $100 Barrow Hotel voucher. You can jump in the conversation as well. 8223 0000. Time for the headlines. Charlie Dixon on the other side.
FIVEAA breakfast. I am holding in my hand a packet of snow peas. These snow peas, they're not imported from some exotic overseas location. They're made in Paraka. Guess how much these snow peas cost?
Informing Adelaide.
$9.50.
Yes.
$9.50? How the hell have we got to a point where a packet of snow peas costs $9.50? Every single one of these snow peas costs 43 cents.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Is there a God? What is the meaning of life? Do I actually need unlimited data to watch a few cat videos on my commute? Cute.
Question everything, especially your telco plan. Get the data you need at low prices with Aldi Mobile.
A lot of shopping centres are the same. Same predictable shops, same people. But if you want something new, check out Newton Central with Drake's, Barossa Fine Foods, Seafood Works, Target and many more specialty shops. It's the kind of centre where you can get some retail therapy, do the weekly shop or gather all the fine ingredients you need for an impressive family feast. Want something new in your life? Choose a new local. Choose Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
Oh, I can't wait to do the dishes.
Said no one ever.
Oh, self-serve checkout. It's so easy.
Hogwash. At Warner Close, you can retire scrubbing dishes, tedious grocery runs and boring chores. Because we cook your meals fresh here, take care of your linen and we're on site 24/7. We even have happy hour. That's just a taste of retirement at Warner Close Murray Bridge. Visit warnerclose.com.au. SA community owned.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon. Mel Usher with the latest news headlines. The Premier is headed overseas again. Peter Malinauskas has announced he'll be making his first official visit to China. The Extinction Rebellion protester who abseiled off the Morfett Street Bridge during morning peak hour in May has fronted court today. The childcare subsidy will be expanded from Monday, but there are concerns it will be eaten up in increased fees. And in sport, the third Ashes test starts tonight at Headingley. Now checking 5AA traffic.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Down roads for the drive this afternoon with the occasional shower, and look out for a burst water out at Paradise. Roads closed there. It's Gorge Road near Silks Road. Speeds out at 25 for the lane closed. Airbray burst water main, Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway, and busy Goodwood Road at Roses Street. That's due to works with the lane closed. Cameras on the drive home, President Avenue, Andrews Farm, and Phillip Highway at Elizabeth South. The King Living Winter Sale ends soon. Save up to 50% on selected Australian designed award-winning furniture. Sale ends soon. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, showers tonight down to 10, showers increasing tomorrow 16. Right now it's 12 degrees. We'll have more news at 5 and as it happens on 5AA.
We're with Toop and Toop's Bronte Manuel. Given current market conditions, what's the best method for selling property in Adelaide? Is it auction?
There are a number of options out there when it comes to method of sale, but having said that, we've achieved some outstanding results under auction conditions recently, especially with the very low stock levels in Adelaide.
Now, a little birdie tells me you and a couple of other Toop team members have won some auctioneering competitions recently.
Winning trophies isn't a priority for us, but it is satisfying to know we have such a powerful team of auctioneers at Toop and Toop.
Does it really matter though?
A good auctioneer is a highly skilled negotiator who can read body language, knows how to maximise bidding, and ultimately gets the deal done. A good auctioneer can be the difference between a mediocre result and an amazing one.
To find out more about Toop and Toop auction success, go to toop.com.au.
Fancy a wine? You'll find a huge hand-picked selection at your local independent SA family liquor store, FIVEAA. Or if you fancy a beer, you'll find the very best local, imported and craft beer at FIVEAA too. But if you fancy spirits, you'll find whiskies, gins and liquors for all tastes at FIVEAA. And you'll find friendly service and advice too. Whatever you fancy, you'll find it at FIVEAA, your local independent SA family liquor stores for over 45 years.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
The 5AA Sports Show, Sam Tugwell and Warren Tredrea.
It's 27 minutes to 5. Caroline Wilson to join us after 5 o'clock, and the Premier Peter Malinauskas ahead of a really great weekend with our Thunderbirds and some big announcements made earlier today. Protect and improve your business with one solution. Winner of the National Telstra Enterprise Customer Excellence Award. Treaders, you've been enjoying being the one and only big forward on this show all week long, but you are not alone now.
Mate, I'm just a minnow compared to this bloke.
I agree.
He's got about 10 centimetres on me.
200 great games.
I might have him covered for weight, though.
Charlie Dixon joins us. Charlie, how are you, mate?
Good, lads. How are you?
Very good,
mate. Congratulations. 200 big games, hey? You early days with a few ankle injuries and a few years at the Suns and a boy from Cairns. Did you think you'd get this far?
Probably not, mate, to be honest. I mean, I don't think I was given much sort of chance either from anyone else either. So, you know, I'm very grateful for the two clubs for giving me my opportunity to be able to play 200 games. So, yeah, I'm just... pumped, really.
Now, the decision to join Port Adelaide's been a pretty good one. You talk about your first period at the Suns, 65 games, 94 goals, 2016. I think it was via free agency. You head to Port Adelaide, and you haven't looked back since.
Yeah, no, it's been quite a journey, really. I mean, like I said, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to play at both clubs, and it was a bit of a rocky start at coming to Adelaide and having my first winter coming, like you said, a Cairns boy, and then Gold Coast, and then coming down Adelaide and feeling like it's raining every single day and cold and windy, and just wondering what the hell what have I done? No, I've sort of grown to love this place that I call home now. So
you're a good ambassador for South Australia, mate. You love the weather.
Yeah, that's it. Oh well, I'm in the hills now, and it's just started absolutely slamming down. So it's but I actually love all the seasons. It's just a part of it, and I suppose there's not much you can do either. But I'm stopping wet up here, but no, I love Adelaide, and I don't think I'm going to be going anywhere anytime soon. That's for sure.
And you talk about the joining Port Adelaide. You were coached by Ken Hinkley when he was an assistant coach early days at the Suns. Then he's obviously brought you to Port. A big part of that move, I assume, was Ken Hinkley.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, I mean, I only knew him and Cracker when I moved to the club. So he was the only sort of person that sort of brought me here. It wasn't even on the table when you know, when I was first decided to look elsewhere, like they weren't even sort of on the radar until Ken rang me, basically. So, but yeah, you know, like I've said sort of earlier today that, you know, I wouldn't be in this position without Ken, not at all, you know, and he's had such an impact on my career and on and off the field as well. And, you know, I'm forever grateful for the support and, for the support that he's given me throughout my career.
Other influences on your career over the journey where you think, you know, that person was really good for me? Brendan
Lade and Chad Corns also as well. We do a lot of work together, and he's just a great mate as well. And also Nathan Bassett, he's helped me out a whole lot in the last few years, and being our forwards coach. But there's just a whole lot. It's sort of been great this sort of week. You know, like you get asked a lot of questions, so it's been nice to reflect on, you know, my career and stuff like that as well. So there's plenty of people out there that I've missed, but you know, it's been an amazing journey and still got a fair bit to go, I think.
Yeah, and your form's been really strong. Do you dare to dream what could be?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like that's sort of it. You know, you sort of don't play footy without thinking about that sort of stuff, but you got to just try and take it a week at a time, which is what I'm pretty good at. I don't really look too far forward. I don't really know even who we're playing most weeks, but until they actually show up. So we're at a good spot at the moment, and the team and Kenny have been doing an amazing job, and I'm just sort of really proud to be a part of this group, to be honest.
Can you take us through that thinking? Some people are absolute students of the game, and they need all the info and they need all the vision. And with your comment then, it sounds like the less is best for you, and that's how you get the best out of yourself. Can you explain that?
Like I suppose I grew up not really watching footy or playing it, so I didn't really have a good crack at it till I was about, you know, 14, 15. So, and like I never really followed it growing up, and I've still never really followed it while I'm playing. You know, like I rarely watch football at home, and I've got other interests outside of football that I find is, you know, pivotal in the way of keeping my mind fresh. And because, as you know, Adelaide is a very crazy football town, and it is hard to, you know, decompress sometimes. But, you know, I've been able to sort of do that quite easily with sort of my other interests, and like living up here in the hills now, it's the best thing I've ever done, and getting away from, you know, everything. And I've got enough space up here where everyone can leave me alone, and I just do whatever I want. So, and I love it.
Sounds like the good life, mate. Sounds like your forwards coach might have got in your ear. And bloke who never left Glenelg and bragged about Glenelg has now done the Hills thing too. Take you a little bit further. Driving with Dixon's on YouTube. Still going strong?
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of going really well at the moment. I had an open house of at my shed in Welland. It was called Cars and Creators, and had a bunch of people come down there. Had JP Drake there with his amazing LFA Lexus, which was pretty cool. And I've got a big cycle armor wall where I push cars in there, and then let all these digital creators come through and take photos and hang out. Had food trucks and stuff like that. So I'm actually really loving it. It's given me it's my passion, and giving me some real drive outside of football, and keeps my mind fresh for when I do have to, you know, switch on to football and go out there and play. And definitely keeps me busy, that's for sure. I'm always sort of on the go, but no, I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it.
Chuck's to garage. You've decked it out now. You've got a big studio-looking thing in there. You've got lights. You've got walls. You've got logo. Mate, you've done a good job.
Yeah, no, it's taken me a long time. Last 6 to 8 months, it's sort of taken a while to get the shed to where it is now, and that was our first open, and you know, we had like probably 200 people come through, and I love the car community here, and they've looked after me, and you know, I want to showcase other people's cars and builds and stuff like that, and really showcase, you know, the car industry and, you know, car scene here in Adelaide. That's massive, you know. So, and I just love it, and I'm hoping I can sort of move into something along these lines, you know, after football, whenever that is.
YouTube, Driving with Dixon, if you want to check it out. 10,000 subscribers and going strong, and probably even a TV show sitting there ready to go as well, if it's not just a streaming thing. I want to get you back to the footy field. A couple of weeks ago, I was nervous for you. I saw you limping a little bit with a sore knee against the Cats. I wondered how you'd turn out against 2 weeks later against the Bombers, and you moved like you've moved in a long time. How's the body? Because you've challenged with a back injury and a knee niggle, and you're on the dirty side of 30, as everyone starts to talk about. How's the body going right now?
Not too bad. Hanging in by some tape, I think, at the moment, but I'm getting there, mate. It's I felt quite good to start the game, and then I got quite a nasty corky off Phillips sort of through the middle of the ground just for a quarter time, and that sort of gives me the most grief at the moment, all in the same leg as when I've sort of snapped my PCL. So a bit of fluid hanging around that knee doesn't help it that much, but I've ran around like a busted arse of training the last couple of days, so trying to run this corky out, but no, I'm going all right, mate. I mean, my job's pretty easy. I just need to stand there and try and bring the ball to ground, and like people get in the way, and then make a mess and do what I can.
Sounds good, mate. Good luck this week, in the big 200.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Charlie Dixon, what a star. In 200 games. It's gone quickly, but you can tell hanging on by a tape.
Going on like a busted. It's probably fiberglass tape, to be honest. Strong stuff.
But really the gaffer gear. It's 18 minutes to 5. Port Adelaide fans.
Look at it go! Look at it go! What a bomb! Woo!
Okay, get on the line, 82230055. If you know what that means, you know what you're going to get. And cybersecurity and workflow, never been more important than right now, Treaders. Don't mess around, get in touch with our friends at One Solution. They bring us Charlie Dixon, winners of the National Telstra Enterprise Customer Excellence Award. We're going to speak to the Crows' Scotty Burns after the break. Here's your traffic.
Afternoon, a few passing showers, so take it easy on damp roads on the way home. And look out for a burst water main at Paradise. Got a road closed too. That's Gorge Road near Silks Road. Speeds around that area 25, so she's pretty slow. Another burst water main at Urbray. This one's Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway. Quite busy South Road at Edwardstown with cameras Moseley Street, Glenelg South, and Military Road at Henley Beach. Never compromise the performance of your BMW with full vehicle servicing from $298 at Glenelg BMW. T's and C's apply. LMCT 8953. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The Crows had many pathways to goal as they buried the battling Kangaroos.
Absolute class.
They look so strong at Adelaide Oval, but the challenge remains winning on the road.
Isaac Rankin's got 5!
Sunday arvo on 5AA. The Crows have an opportunity for an away win, but to get it, they'll need to beat the Bombers.
Beauty! They're running hot now, the Crows.
5AA is your home for football.
Don't just send it, ace it.
I'm with Chris from ASIC Couriers, an SA family business, doing great things for your business.
Thanks, Rowie. Our drivers all undergo intensive training, and the ASIC compliance team regularly audit our fleet. Plus, we use the latest satellite technology to track your deliveries. No matter what it is, we can deliver it safely and on time. Visit asiccouriers.com.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
The Beatles' breathtaking masterpiece White Album, a 60s revolution in music. Now, a live concert tour de force. 29 classic tracks, 21 sensational artists. Chris Chaney, Phil Jamieson, Josh Pike and Tim Rogers are doing it on the road again. The White Album Concert. Festival Theatre, Friday, September 8th. On sale Friday. Book at Ticketek.
Hey, heading out or staying home this weekend, Treaders Sip and Save has you covered.
Always. Don't worry about that. If you're a fan of Coopers, click yes.
Yes.
Enjoy a glass of your favourite spirit. Used to, yes. Or prefer a cozy up with a glass of red. Look at that weather outside on Omo Square pelting down. That is red wine weather if you see it. So if you are in for an absolute treat at your local Sip and Save.
I can just imagine having the warm fire on right now in the living area
and
for this
roast.
evening. Yeah, with one of these. Check out the great offers they have. A Cooper's Mild Ale, 3.5%. You got a 24-pack for $46.99. That is pretty good.
Yep,
Johnny
take that.
Walker Red Label Scotch and Smirnoff Red Vodka, 1 litre. They're all great value, $59.99. That's the equivalent of a $41.99 for 700 mils, so that's pretty good. And how about a bottle of Pepper Jack Barossa Shiraz? This is what you want, 750 mils. $18.99.
But it's not just there. For even more great offers, you can head in-store, download the app, or visit sipandsave.com.au. Make sure, though, drink responsibly.
Love Craft? Love Craft Alive Adelaide. Book your ticket now. Love shopping classes and displays at Craft Alive Adelaide. Classes include fabric collage, English paper piecing, textile art, free motion quilting, applique, embroidery, fabric painting, card making and scrapbooking. Plus yarn, lace, fabric, furniture and storage, sewing machines, long arm machine and paper craft retailers. Learn, shop and be inspired. Craft Alive runs the 7th to 9th of July at Adelaide Showground, featuring the SA Quilters Festival of Quilts exhibition. Buy tickets at craftalive.com.
And they're off. Aldi's low prices take the lead, quickly overtaken by Aldi's low prices. Oh, I can't believe it, lapping themselves again. It's Aldi with Australia's lowest prices. Oh, they won't be beaten on your weekly shop. It's Aldi. Good, different.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And Business SA and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between Business SA and Ray White Business Sales SA, they're bringing all their experience to your business, making sure it's in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. So go on, touch base with the experts. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Proudly partnered with Business SA.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
The FIVEAA Sports Show, Sam Tugwell and Warren Tredrea.
13 minutes to 5. Caro after 5 o'clock for Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. She's back, which we enjoy. And congratulations to Donna on your way to the Port Adelaide locker room with a double pass this Saturday against the Gold Coast Suns, which will be fantastic. Joining us now on the line, we're going to cross over the road to West Lakes, Crows and Essendon this Sunday, 2:50 Marvel Stadium, all live on 5AA. The assistant coach of the Crows, Scotty Burns, joins us. Scotty, welcome.
Thank you, boys. How you going?
Going really well, Scotty. Do we expect a debut this weekend with Jordan Butts out with a concussion and potential a young defender coming in? And Borlase, a lot of people are expecting to come in.
Yeah, we'll put the squad out tonight. We don't have to finalise it until late tomorrow, being a Sunday game. So we'll put the squad out tonight. We'll have a bit of a chat more as coaches tomorrow about lunchtime before we finalise. And yeah, there's a few in the mix at the moment. We just have to go through it all, through the nitty gritty, and decide who gets that opportunity.
Is it a difficult selection at the moment?
It is to an extent, because what we've got underneath at SNFL level is that there's, the two key defenders are playing really good football. Lockie Gallant up the other end's playing some very good football as well. Strawny's going very well in the ruck, and our midge, like Schoenberg's, had a terrific 4 to 6 weeks. So there's a lot of players playing some very good football, and can certainly, we'd be happy taking, there's probably about 10 or 12 of them that could come in and play a role for us on any given week. But the pleasing thing is that the boys above are playing some really good football. We've even had Ned McHenry, who's been a Medi sub for a long time, doing his role. He got the opportunity last week, and Lockie Scholl was the Medi sub, but he had Lockie comes in and has 12 to nearly 15 touches, I think, in that last quarter, and played some really good football. So it is pleasing that there's a lot of our players that are playing some pretty decent football at the moment.
Is Schoenberg stiff? Because it sort of doesn't seem to be too much wrong at AFL level, but he just can't get into the team.
Well, when you say stiff, you've got to look at, you can't just solely look at the player who's playing well at SNFL level. You've got to look at what's above. So I think Dawson and Lairdy are playing some pretty good football. What Rory Sloane's done off that knee to come back in 11 months afterwards has been sensational. He's nearly one of our better mids last week with 30 touches. So there's players that are playing well. I mean, Kesey's played a fair bit forward. We're managing to get Saligo, Rochelle, Pedler, those boys on ball as well. And as you know, like we spoke about earlier, Lockie Scholl, but Chase Jones has played some terrific football on the wing as well for us this year, which has been really pleasing. So he's been one of our most consistent week in, week out. So, yeah, Shawnee's playing some very, very good football, and it deserves an opportunity, but those above have been incredibly consistent.
And a bloke called Darren Burgess keeps him fit by the look of it, and obviously not just him, but the team's done a wonderful job keeping the guys up and going and playing their best, because you can't do it if you're not fit. That's true.
No, that's right. We've been extremely fortunate this year. When you look at everything that's happened at some other clubs, Burjo and his team have been sensational. We still get out there and train reasonably hard as well. So we've had a great balance. Now, there's a bit of luck. Obviously, we've unfortunately had a few concussions this year, but we haven't had any of those big collisions, let's touch wood, yet anyway, that have kept boys out for long periods of time.
One of our callers, in touching on that concussion, suggested that if the umpires blew the whistle quicker in terms of that wrestling contest, it might get rid of some of those sling tackles. Are you a believer that that's fair, or do you think they've just got a hard enough job as it is?
There's no doubt that's there at times. Yeah, whatever that. What the caller said. There's certainly instances. It's not all the time, but there's certainly instances where I think just blow it quickly because you can see the tackler doesn't want to take him to the ground, and the player with the ball's really unsure what's going on, and eventually what happens sometimes is the player with the ball breaks free as well, or manages to get his handball out. So I think we're still filtering our way or finding our way through this. This looks like a different interpretation this year, especially.
I spoke with Sloaney a couple of days ago and floated the question: is it something that you'll need to look at, both Tex and him, even though they're in great form? You want them to be around in best form at the right time. Do you look at managing them or not?
We'll do that with everyone. We've obviously managed Tex midway through that first part of the first semester before we got to the mid-season break. We've certainly got the last half of this season. Since the bye, so there's another 10 or so games that we'll keep an eye on. But it'd be very much on how the individual is, as you know, Treaders. You'll get to games where you just sore, or you're just struggling to get through training. Well, that may well be the time to have that breather. But it's not just the older fellas. We've got quite a few young blokes in here still that are still, Max is his first year, but quite a few second and third year players playing. So we've got to keep an eye on that as well. And it may well be rotating the Medi-Sub. It may well be giving them a breather. But if they're in form and they're feeling good, we'll certainly keep them going.
Bombers this week. Scotty Camporelli was in during the week with a bit of a coach's hat on, saying trying to slow them down and force them to kick long down the line. Is that the best way to try and beat them, because they do dominate the centre of the ground?
Yeah, they are. They're a very good team. They're playing some really good football at the moment through that, not just the middle, but their back half. They're one of the leading teams in creating scoring opportunities from their back half. They're a high uncontested mark team, so you're certainly right. You want to slow that part of the game down and force them long if you can. But at the same time, if our defence is on and they want to look for these uncontested marks, or they want to look to go quickly, we can certainly pick them off and maybe go back the other way. But they're certainly one of the teams that has picked up a lot from last year, and they've got a few threats in every line.
Scotty, everyone's had challenges in away games. It looks like you're getting ever so close to pinching one, particularly 2 weeks ago against Collingwood. Is that in the head?
No, I just think it's where we're at. It's just, if you go back, let's just rewind a little bit, 6 months ago going into the season, it's, I guess where we're at, we're trying to win as many as we can at home, really. Yep. What we have done is when you see the external expectations now, it's about, geez, we've got to win more away. Well, we've certainly had the attitude of going into every single game, whether it's home or away, that we want to win. We want to play good football, and you can see that we've challenged teams. We've actually played some good football away that we just haven't finished the game off. It's not easy to get within a couple of goals at Geelong. I think we were about 3 minutes to go down there, and played some really good football for a quarter and a half up at Darwin against Gold Coast before it got slippery and dewy. So that was really pleasing, but it was a pretty disappointing second half. And as you saw what Collingwood can come and do last week, to get them on their home deck in front of 65,000, 70,000 people to get within a goal, and I honestly felt if there was another minute and a half, we were still coming pretty aggressively. We just ran out of time, unfortunately. That was really pleasing. So sometimes it's not just about the wins and losses, but how you're going about it. I thought that was a game 2 weeks ago that we can hold our heads high, and we know that we can challenge anyone, whether it's home or away.
And you sort of touched on that, Scotty, as well. And we talked with Campo earlier in the week about this very thing. Your scoring ability in this competition has been astronomical, and especially at Adelaide Oval, it's just so good. But when you take it on the road, it doesn't quite translate the same. Do you know why?
I haven't looked at that too much detail, but straight away the first thing that came to my mind was a slippery game down at Geelong, a slippery wet game it was Ballarat against the Doggies. It was hard to get a handle on that ball post. Half-time maybe at Gold Coast. The conditions can come into it a little bit. It was nearly a shootout, though, that first one against the Giants, where it was a hot game and everyone was absolutely... It was spent. They had nothing left in them. It was just going from D50 to 450 and back again. So both teams scored heavily in that game, I think, if I can remember rightly. So I think it's probably, that's where you've got to be careful, just looking specifically at home and away. You certainly got to look at conditions. You certainly got to look at locations and the teams that you play against.
Lovely. Well, we appreciate your time, Burnsy, and best of luck with this Sunday's game against the Bombers.
No worries. Thanks, boys.
Scotty Burns there with the Crows side looking very good this season.
He's absolutely right. The expectation has risen. I remember that game, and I remember the GWS game, and I think I was filling in for Rowie, who was away at the start of the season. I was like, that was just it's the golfing mulligan. You want to pick the ball up and start again. And since then, Adelaide has. It's been a really good fight back. And that loss seems so long ago. And the group has grown so much. Yeah, they've probably got a lot of belief from that very point, haven't they? They've seen that game. We know we can do it. The reality check Adelaide needed. Had a great pre-season. Thinking it was just almost a little bit thinking it was going to happen. Not that you do, but sometimes you just lose that little bit of an edge. And since then, they've been ruthless. Ken is at FIVEAA. How are you, Ken?
Yeah, good, thanks, boys. I wanted to have my little say about the Wingeon Poms.
Go hard, Ken.
The cricket. And I'm going back nearly 90 years now.
Wow.
You remember the 1930s? Well, you won't. None of us will remember, but if you read up on the Bodyline series, a bloke called Jardine came out here, and they bowled these bouncers at batsmen who had no helmets. Don Bradman at the time he's finished with an average of 99.94. In the Bodyline series, he finished with an average of 56. This bloke Jardine got Don Bradman out 6 times in 9 innings with this foul bowling.
Yeah.
The Poms don't seem to remember that, but between then and now, there's been all these controversies over, everyone wants an edge, sandpaper or whatever. Which is cheating, the sandpaper thing, they get caught out. But everyone else wants an edge in all sorts of sports. But what I don't get is the Poms, in my opinion, with the cricketers, I've got English friends, but the cricketers seem to forget that they were the original bad sports with that Bodyline series. In fact, Warren, you said last night about our Prime Minister having his 2 bobs worth.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister of Australia at the time was Joseph Lyons. Yep. He had to. Incidentally, England won that Bodyline series 4-1. Joseph Lyons had to intervene to stop diplomatic relations breaking down. That's how bad it got.
Wow. Yeah, wow. That's a long way from where we are now, isn't it?
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate the call.
That's a great call. In the Bodyline series too, with the beam bowls and bouncers they were bowling. There were no helmets back then.
Exactly right. And the fields were set for going back. A history lesson while we've got one.
Yes.
Only one
team.
Good
at history, but I like this.
Only one team has ever come back from 2-0 down in an Ashes 5-Test series.
Oh, wow. That's a big step.
1936-37.
Oh, I love when totally
Australia.
Different sport. I love what Lee Matthews said last night. I don't buy into the spirit of the game. He goes, there's rules. And if it's within the rules, forget the spirit of the game.
Yeah, right.
It's competition. You do what you can to win within the rules. And I go, that simplifies it a lot. We've got a lot of really good texts too on their unique Homestyle Foods text line. Port supporter can't understand why and how Borlase is on the Crows list after his father played over 200 games and multiple premierships for the Magpies. They're saying he was born in Egypt. Is that just finding a loophole? No, it's not a loophole. Port Adelaide had a chance to get him. I spoke to Daryl about this, Daryl Borlase, a former teammate of mine and captain of mine, and he said no, the Crows were really into him. And this is effectively like the Mason Cox situation. He was born in Egypt, and he didn't go through the pathways and didn't go through the draft, so he's able to get nominated that way too. Also another quick call too, saying the Crows are desperate this week. Don't think they'll debut a player. So plenty of text coming through, and also please, Treaders, don't put down the hypocrites. Besto's in different company. Wow, in a different category altogether. Wally the Walnut, I like your text.
1 minute to 5, we'll get to the news. Caroline Wilson has returned. She'll join us next.
How far would you go for your dream kitchen? And how far would you go to get 25% off? How about 15 minutes up the freeway to Balhanna Kitchens by Design? To the largest showroom in the Adelaide Hills. Custom build your dream with our award-winning designers. And get 25% off your cabinets with laminate bench tops. For a limited time, of course. Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream a reality. balhannakitchens.com.au.
Buying a trailer? First things first, make sure it's Australian born.
When I say born, I mean made here in SA from Aussie steel, like Basic Trailers. If the trailer you're looking at came out of a container, that's a red flag. That trailer is a cheap import, nowhere near the quality of Basic Trailers, and it just won't last. If you want a trailer that'll go the distance with you or your business, go Basic Trailers. Bigger, better, stronger. basictrailers.com.au. Online, on DAB digital radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers tonight, showers increasing tomorrow and 16. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
New road safety laws will pass state parliament today. Attorney General Kayam Ma says penalties for driving which result in death or serious harm are being beefed up.
Up until now, the maximum penalty that could be imposed for causing someone's death by careless driving has been 12 months. These new laws will create a new mid-tier offence that will allow up to 7 years in jail as the punishment.
The reforms were introduced in the wake of the death of Sophia Naismith at Glengowrie in 2019. An elderly man struck by a car last month has died. The 82-year-old was hit at Pasadena. The state road toll for the year now stands at 62. The Face of Extinction Rebellion's campaign in the city back in May fronted court today. May Thorne was charged with obstructing a public place and disturbing the peace. Police alleging her decision to abseil off the Morfett Street Bridge during morning peak hour caused commuter chaos. The 69-year-old wants to take the case to trial unless SAPOL accept a plea bargain offer. Another court date has been set for August. Parents are worried the government's childcare subsidy will do very little to deal with soaring childcare fees. Michael Packey reports from Canberra.
A study by Australia's consumer watchdog reveals an increase in childcare fees of up to 32% over 4 years.
It does start to get ridiculous. What I'm bringing home from work is going into childcare fees.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the ACCC will monitor prices as extended government subsidies kick in from Monday.
That no one takes advantage of the fact we are putting in increased support.
Childcare providers admit fees have risen, but say that's because, like any other business, they're dealing with increased costs and staff shortages.
The Greens are urging the federal government to reach a deal with the states and territories to cap rent increases. Caps already exist in the ACT, and the minor party believes the scheme should be rolled out across the country. Other jurisdictions aren't keen to go down the path, but Greens housing spokesman Max Chandler-Mather says it's the best way to deal with the rental crisis.
62% of renters are in financial stress. The RBA has said rents are going to go up even faster over the next 12 months than they did over the previous 12 months, and Sydney has just seen the biggest rent rise in 20 years. And I think if we don't take some action now, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble in the next 12 months.
And Mr. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, launched his Twitter alternative called Threads today. There have been 10 million sign-ups in the first 7 hours. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Meet Josh Rochelle and Zach Butters at Sports Card World's Trade Day on Sunday, July 16th in Regent Arcade.
Port's Charlie Dixon will play his 200th game this weekend, and he'll mark the milestone against his old side, the Gold Coast Suns. He's told the 5AA Sports Show he doesn't think long-term about his career.
You got to just try and take it a week at a time, which is what I'm pretty good at. I don't really look too far forward. I don't really know even who we're playing most weeks, but until they actually show up, we're in a good spot at the moment, and the team and Kenny have been doing an amazing job, and I'm just sort of really proud to be a part of this group.
Alastair Clarkson has met with the North Melbourne Football Department as he closes in on a return to coaching. Interim coach Brett Ratton insists there is no timeline on when Clarkson will take back the reins.
I think we've got to be flexible, don't we? How's he feeling? Has he caught up with all the news and what we're trying to do? Just fill in some of the gaps, and it might take 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. I think if we put a timeline on it, I think it puts people under pressure, and we don't need to be under pressure here.
The stage is set for an eventful start to the third Ashes test at Headingley. The Brits still riled up about the second test. Andy Murray will face Stefanos Tsitsipas on day 4 at Wimbledon, and an Aussie rider will be in the yellow for tonight's stage of the Tour de France. Jai Hindley is the man to beat in stage 6. Now checking 5AA traffic.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam.
real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A few heavy showers rolling through at the moment, so take it easy on damp roads on the drive home and look out for a burst water at Paradise. Got road closed around it. Gorge Road near Silks Road, speeds at 25, pretty sluggish at the moment. Another burst water at Tredrea, Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway. Slow for works at Wingfield, 2 lanes closed. That's on the north-south motorway near Francis Road, speeds at 40. With cameras today, Midway Road, Elizabeth Park and Military Road at Grange. Save 22% off the package price at Harvey Norman when you purchase the same branded TV and soundbar in one transaction. Hurry, limited time at Harvey Norman. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Showers tonight down to 10, showers increasing tomorrow 16, Saturday showers easing, windy and 15, and Sunday 16. Right now it's 9 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Sophia's Law given new life, a family's heartbreak making our roads safer. A man facing court accused of taking a car from Clearview with a child inside. New facilities for both grassroots and top netball in Adelaide. The SA Stars caught up in the AFL nude scandal, plus how to double what your solar panels earn right now. I'm Kate Collins, the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
We've got Shane from Drummond Golf with us. Now, Shane, probably not a good idea to play golf if it's wet and horrible outside.
Rowie, you're exactly right. There'd be no way I'd be out there. It'd be no fun at all. Which is why we think all golfers out there will love Big Swing Golf indoor simulators at Drummond Golf Mile End. They're fully endorsed by the PGA Tour and Tiger Woods. We have a room full of simulators to play golf with your mates, rain, hail or shine. And guess what? We're fully air-conned.
I've had a crack. It's brilliant. Love it. There's 84 amazing courses to play and 12 other sports to choose from. So jump online, take a look at bigswinggolf.com.au, then call your cobbers and head to Drummond Golf Mile End. We'll see you for a quick round soon.
Absolutely looking forward to it, Rowie.
Hey, Tredders, something life-changing could happen at midnight.
Yeah, it could. You have up until midnight tonight to get your tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. You know, this is the big one. This is your last chance to win the $4 million grand prize in Malvern, right next to Unley Road.
How good is that? You could be living mortgage-free. Can you think about that? Mortgage-free.
I'm mortgage-free, but I don't own a house.
Just minutes from Adelaide.
I know.
That's the best part about it. The spectacular Scott Salisbury built home, $200,000 in the bank as well, just to top it off.
But the absolute last chance to get your tickets is midnight tonight, so get on moving. So here's the sweetener. Your tickets also go into a 13,000 draws to win luxury cars, holidays, cash and tech.
How do I get involved?
They're all the things you want.
That's exactly right. So make sure you're in for the chance to win, and a whole new life is on the way. Get your home lottery tickets by midnight tonight. Time is ticking. Join the fight and get your tickets before midnight at homelottery.com.au.
The 5AA Sports Show.
An extraordinary goal!
Sam Tugwell and Warren Tredrea.
8 minutes after 5 on this Thursday evening. Coming up this hour, we have the Premier, Peter Malinauskas. South Australia will be hosting the Super Netball Grand Final. The Thunderbirds have got themselves a new home. Their stadium's going to be revamped. Lots to get through with the Premier. We're going to cross to the UK, to Leeds ahead of the third test. Dan Cherney's there for Code Sports. We'll speak to the Matildas' Charlotte Grant ahead of the World Cup. Plenty to get into this evening. But first, we're going to speak to Caroline Wilson. All thanks to Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. With a great range with manufacturers' warranties, Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. You can find them at 919 Marion Road, Marion.
Sweet Caroline.
Caro, welcome along.
Hello, Sam. Hello, Warren. Great to be back.
Caro, a big early in the week, a big story you broke on Footy Classified on 9 about Stuart Dew. You don't think he'll be at the Gold Coast next year?
I don't, Warren. I don't. Your old premiership teammate, Stuart Dew, in fact. My view is that his days are numbered, and I know Stewie Dew has come out swinging, which is completely fair enough after my report on Monday night. I don't think I'm targeting him. I don't think I'm going after him. I think the numbers just speak 1,000 words. And I also think that, having spoken to a lot of people around that footy club, it's clear to me that they are very much now looking at Plan B. I think that Damien Hardwick is their target, but I'm not ruling out would obviously set a few dominoes falling, a move by Chris Scott at some point.
So when you say the numbers, clearly people are looking round then, and they haven't told him.
Well, I mean, Stewie's in his 6th year, and it's 6 years. There are concerns at the club, despite, putting, in their view, a different, better setup around Stuart Dew now. They haven't improved this year. I mean, look, will they come out this weekend and cause a major upset against Port Adelaide? My view is that that's highly unlikely, but, things like this have happened in footy. I don't think Stuart Dew is going to survive, because I think after 6 years the club has realised that, well, for a start, they can't afford, Warren, I don't think, to start again and have another year of no improvement next year. Then they're really looking down the gun barrel of risking losing guys like Rowell and Anderson, King and Lukosius. They've got some brilliant academy kids, 3 really good top 20 draft pick, potentially top 3 draft pick academy kids coming in next year, and they have to get this right. I think they have got a lot right at that footy club in the last couple of years, but the crowds are still a big worry. Just appalling that they finally got a sell-out against Collingwood last weekend and they performed the way they did. I know it seems tough and there are humans involved here, but when you're a journo and you hear that the coach is probably going to go, I think you have to report it. And that's my view. I think they looked at it last year and in the end they felt that he deserved one more chance, given he hadn't had the best people around him initially. And now they think he has. I mean, a lot of assistants have left under Stewie Dew. I think he is struggling. I think he was struggling in recent weeks, particularly after Damien Hardwick announced his shock resignation from Richmond. And I do think Hardwick is a choice, but people keep saying to me, don't discount Chris Scott. I'm not sure whether there's anything in that. I know Chris is contracted. I know he's not the type to walk away from his contract, but that's just the name I keep hearing.
In the case against Stuart Dew losing his job, they've finished 12th, which is their equal best finish. It looks like the players, the players are invested in him, and I'm not sure they're a better team than the teams above them, are they?
Yeah, I think they are, and I think that. Well, where are they now? They're 12th now. They were 11th this time last year on the same amount of points. Let's see how they go against Port, Warren, because they lost by less than a goal to Port last year in the second half of the season, and Collingwood. We saw what happened against Collingwood this season at home. No, I don't think there's any excuse for not making finals this year. Yeah, I know they've got some injuries. They had injuries last year. Other teams have got injuries. All teams have injuries. There's a concerning but not, season ending in terms of writing off a whole season. And I think, as I say, I said this the other night, there are genuine doubts about standard setting, preparation into big games, strategy, and I think the club now thinks that it can do better, and I think it needs to do better. I also think there has been times in recent years when the AFL has been breathing down their necks.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
That was my next question. How much weight does the AFL have in this situation, considering they're spending a lot of money extra on top at the Suns and also GWS?
Yeah, and they gave them some pretty generous concessions a few years ago when the crisis was really setting in again, not for the first time. I think Gillon McLachlan clearly has other issues at the moment and he's on the way out. I'm not sure whether Andrew Dillon is putting as much pressure right as we speak on the Gold Coast Suns, but I know that Gillon McLachlan has been in the past couple of years. I think there is pressure on Mark Evans, and I know he stood by Stewie Dew at his press conference yesterday, but nothing was said in that press conference, Warren and Sam, that made me believe that Stuart has been guaranteed for next year. I don't believe that to be the case. And, you say players are invested. I think players move on pretty quickly, I've got to say. You know that.
And that is absolutely true. And I agree with your comments about the press conference. He backed his coach because he had to back his coach, even if he didn't believe it or not. Ken Hinkley, you're saying a new deal at Port and how the Suns have missed out again on him.
Well, it's just ironic, isn't it? In 2012, when Malcolm Blight was director of footy and a big Ken Hinkley fan, they decided to stick, with Bluey McKenna at that stage, the rookie coach, when, Ken was probably really the bloke up in the box making all the big calls, and Guy McKenna was on the sidelines, more of a younger coach, and I don't know whether, anyway, Guy McKenna didn't work for a variety of reasons. So then they had another crack
17.
When Stewie Dew, in fact, ended up getting the job. We know that Ken's management spoke with Mark Evans. We know Mark Evans contacted Ken Hinkley when it looked like Ken might be leaving Port Adelaide after that narrow loss at the end of the season and that famous sort of meeting in Ken Hinkley's house with David Koch and Keith Thomas and Ken and his family. So I think the Gold Coast were really keen in 2017, but for whatever reason, and for all the right reasons anyway, Ken was persuaded to stay at Port Adelaide and wanted to stay. And then this year, the talk around Ken Hinkley going there was absolutely real at the start of the year. Gold Coast was certainly looking at Ken Hinkley, and Ken Hinkley didn't know whether he had a future at Port Adelaide. So it's just third time lucky or third time unlucky, as it turns out, for a partnership that looked to be potentially a great one because, Ken was sort of the first senior assistant at this brand new club. He seemed so invested in the Gold Coast early days, and then it just didn't happen. It's not going to happen again. I think, look, the deal will certainly be done in early August. I'm not sure how long Ken Hinkley is going to sign for, but I can certainly say that it is going to happen, that both parties are very comfortable with the way things are at the moment, and Ken will be staying at Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast have missed out again.
Caro, the big question around that was August and then finals. Do you let it disrupt? And the big knock has been, and I've been critical at times, is we've seen what we've seen right now, and admittedly they're probably playing better than they ever have. But they haven't been able to get to the big dance. You're saying the deal doesn't rely on that?
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. I think... You're saying from the club's point of view?
Yes.
I think if Port finish top four, and I think we can comfortably say it'd be a pretty big shock now if they don't,
yep.
Port will finish top four, and what happens after that is anybody's guess. But I think, I'm not sure whether a deal will be announced before the end of the season, but I'm sure both parties will agree on terms in August. That was the undertaking by the chairman. I'm sure he's going to stick to that undertaking unless Ken says, there was a chance we thought a little while ago, people were sort of speculating that he might say, no, I'm going to take my chances, wait till the end of the year and see what else is around. Well, there's no way Ken is going to do that because he wants to stay at the club. Yep. And why wouldn't you with the way they're playing, the players he's got and the way he's coaching them?
Yeah, absolutely. The other big one in the off-season was Josh Carr. There's a bit of info around, and I know it's your club that you've previously family had a line to, Richmond. Would they entertain going hard for Josh Carr in light of how well Port's midfield has improved this year?
I'm certain they'll look at Josh Carr. I've heard, a lot of names. We've heard a lot of names. I think Hayden Skipworth was even speculated pretty strongly on another radio station earlier this week, and that process is certainly underway, but not complete. And I think that you would certainly look at Josh Carr among others. I know there was a strong feeling, 2 or 3 weeks into the season that Josh was almost certain to be coaching Port Adelaide in a senior sense next year. Maybe Ken will try and convince him to stay on for another year or two. I'm not sure, but I don't think the Richmond process is completely finished, but he is certainly one of the contenders. I wouldn't say the leading contender, though.
Sorry. Mark Williams' future?
Well, I said on Monday night that there are other clubs looking at him, and I think Melbourne are very keen to keep him, but they do have soft cap issues, and the negotiation has been pretty intense between the Melbourne Football Club and Mark Williams. Yep. I now understand that they definitely want to keep him, and they will pull out all stops to do so. I think he's clearly could probably earn more money elsewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think, and if I was Mark, I would stay at Melbourne, and I think Melbourne are going to try and convince him that they want him to stay, they love him, they need him around the place, and he's just going to make, as a lot of people are in footy these days, some sort of sacrifice. But yeah, I think they're doing their level best to keep him at Melbourne. I wasn't so sure whether that was the case, that they were thinking they just mightn't be able to. I think they're, as I said, pulling out all stops to keep him.
And Melbourne, briefly, quickly, Clayton Oliver's had a setback.
Oh, that's just this is a huge story, isn't it? This is an injury that, there were blisters, there was infections, and now we know that he's got a pretty serious hamstring injury, and they're not going to see him for at least a month.
Wow.
Which is just extraordinary.
That's a big loss.
It is.
I know. And been a lot of rumours going around about Melbourne, their behaviour. Look, I think in the end, Melbourne vehemently deny them. Clayton Oliver has a serious injury, and if they're going to have any hope of playing well into deep into September, they need him back. So they're doing the right thing and not even thinking about him for another month.
Yeah, very smart indeed. Caroline, thank you so much for your time and welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
Lovely to have her. Caroline Wilson. All thanks to Harvey Norman Clearance Centre. From cooking appliances, washing machines, dishwashers, TVs, more. There's new stock always arriving weekly, all with manufacturer's warranties. Harvey Norman Clearance Centre on 919 Marion Road, Marion. And just quickly on that, around Clayton Oliver, Melbourne have put out a release today around just the clarity of it all. And it says Clayton has a complex hamstring injury due to the fact that the injury is located where the muscle attaches to the tendon, and to further complicate that, there is an injury to two separate hamstring muscles.
Well, that must be a misdiagnosis. If they've now come back so many weeks later with a tendon injury, that's a misdiagnosis. The other big issue, and the question asked about Caro, Ken Hinkley stays at Port. That looks likely. Richmond, Josh Carr. Port don't want that to happen.
No way.
That's got some smoke around it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
one I'd be calling.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. It's 21 after 5. Let's check your traffic.
Pretty damp roads for the drive home, so take it nice and easy with heavy showers passing through. Look out for a burst water main at Paradise. Got roads close too. Scored Road near Silks Road, speeds at 25. Another burst water main slowing things up at Urbray, Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway. And we've got works too. That's at Albert Park, Old Port Road near Avro Avenue, speeds at 40. Cameras Midway Road, Elizabeth Park, and Military Road at Grange. Beaumont's only clearance centre is at Richmond. Rush in today for Leparto Tires in sandstone, grey and concrete looks from a crazy $29.95. Beaumont's Richmond only. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Sunday nights from 7, join Sean Fuster with his partner in crime, Daniel Panozzo, for Just Lawful, the Adelaide crime stories that will leave you stunned. You can make a difference without getting involved through independent charity Crime Stoppers, supported by Police Credit Union.
We're with Toop and Toop's Bronte Emanuel. Given current market conditions, what's the best method for selling property in Adelaide? Is it auction?
There are a number of options out there when it comes to method of sale, but having said that, we've achieved some outstanding results under auction conditions recently, especially with the very low stock levels in Adelaide.
Now, a little birdie tells me you and a couple of other Toop team members have won some auctioneering competitions recently.
Winning trophies isn't a priority for us, but it is satisfying to know we have such a powerful team of auctioneers at Toop and Toop.
Does it really matter though?
A good auctioneer is a highly skilled negotiator who can read body language, knows how to maximise bidding, and ultimately gets the deal done. A good auctioneer can be the difference between a mediocre result and an amazing one.
To find out more about Toop and Toop Auction's success, go to toop.com.au.
If you're outgrowing your home, it could be time to select a granny flat. At Selector Homes, we've been building transportable granny flats for over 25 years. And now we can build them on a slab, which means your whole home and new granny flat are on the same level. No stairs and seamless living. Also, we can build to the perimeter of your block, saving you space. Fixed price, no hidden costs. Walk through the Haven Granny Flat at the Selector Homes Display Village, Port Wakefield Road, Burton.
This fresh $15.99 a kilo Aussie rump steak is so juicy you'll want to lick your plate, and your fork, and your steak knife. Okay, don't lick the steak knife. I'll be good.
Hey, one of the best ways to see our beautiful country is through the windscreen of your four-wheel drive, but if you want to get there, you've got to be TJM equipped.
Well, it's safe to say South Australians hit the road more than ever in the past couple of years, and once you get a taste for that life, there's no turning back.
Yeah, there's no question about that. The family behind TJM SA have been at the wheel for 10 years now since purchasing the business back in 2012. But TJM has been big at keeping South Australia's wheels turning off-road since 1990.
And safety and comfort, they're always the priority. They've got the bull bars, suspension, snorkels, camping gear, roof racks, driving lights. They've got it all.
Now, you've got to check out the newly renovated showroom with their brand new displays and products at Australia's #1 TJM store in Nailsworth. You have to do it.
Well, all you need to do, visit TJM in Nailsworth and Clovelly Park, the major sponsor of tonight's fishing show from 6:30 with Nettie McHenry.
Hi, I'm Tim Angove from Supercraft Betting. FIVEAA contacted me. I made some time to meet with them. I got on really, really well with Emma. She worked very hard to get my attention, but also really suit the message that I really wanted to display here on FIVEAA. During COVID, manufacturing became front of mind to everyone, but we really needed to mention to people who we are and where we are because people had lost contact with us. FIVEAA really brought that contact home and really got people rocking up at our doorstep almost immediately. I highly recommend small businesses especially to get in with FIVEAA. They're very much South Australian, just like us.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link for more information.
If you're a gardener, then you know the first place you want to be is in your garden. The second is a garden grove, sipping a really good coffee while you tuck into a scrumptious breakfast. Or sipping a glass of wine and chatting over the chef's special. Because the thing about Garden Grove is, it's not just the garden centre that's amazing. So is the cafe.
Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
gardengrove.com.au. Golden Grove.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
The 5AA Sports Show, Sam Tugwell and Warren Tredrea.
It is 26 minutes after 5. Very shortly we'll cross to Leeds with Code Sports' Dan Cherney. Third test tonight. It's building up for our Aussies against the Poms. But we need to get to some great news that happened earlier today, Treaders. A new deal has been made and Adelaide will be the hosts of the 2024 Super Netball Grand Final. It's going to be held at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. If only our Thunderbirds can make it next year and make it back-to-back, that'd be nice. We've got to win the first one first, though.
Absolutely.
I'm confident they will. Joining us now, the Premier, Peter Malinauskas. Peter, thanks for joining us. What a fantastic announcement for our state.
Thanks, gents. Yeah, no, it's an exciting day for netball in our state. We've been working on this plan now for a while. I was really hoping that we might have been able to extract the grand final away from Victoria this weekend, given the T-Birds are in it, but that didn't quite work out. But there's a few other elements to the package as well that we're excited about, and the big one, of course, is the grand final, but the other one is next year, the Thunderbirds are going to play all of their home games at the entertainment centre rather than Mile End.
Nice.
And as a state government, we've made a modest little investment to make that happen, and I think that's a far better outcome for the T-Birds financially, but also a far better outcome for people who want to get along to the netball because it's a 9,000-seat stadium with all the corporate facilities, which is a better experience. And I think there'll be a lot of people happy about that.
Yeah, it was work for basketball, so certainly help with netball, obviously with the financial issues they've got. How hard did you push for this year? Because surely the Vics don't want a New South Wales versus SA game.
Yeah, Trez, it's a good question. Look, I tried pretty bloody hard, to be honest, and I just couldn't get them to budge. They've got a locked-in contract with the Victorian government, and once the deal is done, I can understand entirely why those contracts want to be met. It's sold out in Melbourne this weekend. A lot of people travelling from Adelaide and Sydney, which is, from their perspective, a good result. So there's a big grand final lunch tomorrow in Melbourne. So we'll get the same next year. And regardless, people do travel for grand finals. And, Super Netball in Australia is elite. It is elite. It's probably the best professional netball anywhere in the world. So people travel for it, and that'll be happening in our state next year. Of course, it's our hope that the T-Birds will be playing a home grand final next year, but I'm pretty sure that they're focused on Saturday's game instead just at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be nothing better than them going back-to-back in Adelaide next year. And if you can confirm a rumour for me, Mr Premier, that you may have graced the field again playing footy, I hear, for Adelaide Uni.
Oh, God. I hope there's not footage of it, Treaders. I played on the weekend for Adelaide Uni. I've been out of the Blacks for quite a few years. The last couple of years, this season and last season, since having this job, I don't get to play as regularly as I'd like. But,
how'd you pull up?
Mate, I'm still feeling it. I dead set. I was still hobbling around on Tuesday. But it's just so much fun. Like we were playing against Elizabeth, and it was a really good game, and it was good fun, done in a good spirit, and thankfully Uni won, which is a good thing. So it's just that feeling of you know what it's like when you're playing competitive sport. You don't think about anything else, and
until the after.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was working in the northern suburbs in the morning anyway, so I sort of worked out all right. So just enjoyable. I'll try and get a catch in every now and then.
Do you get a target on your head when you play?
No, you know what? The amateur league's cleaned up over the years that I've been playing a lot. I tell you what, I do get a lot of lip though. Oh boy.
I don't know why.
What's the best sledge you've received?
What's
Premier?
the best sledge? Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I've had a few. I got a good one. So last year, a couple of years ago, I was leader of the opposition at the time, and I was playing against Lockleys, and I was walking in the goal, and people were giving me the pretty usual spray, and that's fine.
Yep.
But then the guy that was standing the mark, he screamed out to everyone, all the Lockleys boys, and he said, "Listen, fellas, shut up, let him have his shot." And that's all sort of obeyed him, and I thought, this is a bit strange. And then I start walking in, and at the top of his voice, he started screaming at me, "Beer and Barbecue Festival, Beer and Barbecue Festival." And he said, "I saw you there last week. Explain yourself, Beer and Barbecue Festival." And the weekend before, I'd been at the Beer and Barbecue Festival, and he made me all nervous. And the way he did it, it's hard to replicate. It was literally the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Did you shank
he had
it?
everyone in stitches. No, I thankfully, I nailed it, but I wasn't very far out, so it was a hard one to miss.
I love that. Premier, thank you so much. Appreciate your quick time, and keep on making some big events and big moves for us here in our state.
I appreciate it, gents. And netball's a big one.
It is.
The women's sport in our state is elite, and it deserves as much attention as the fellas. So, we're happy about this. We're excited.
Oh, we certainly are. Thank you so much, Peter Malinauskas, our Premier of the state, bringing in what is much-needed funds to upgrade the stadium as well, which is great news. So it's all looking up for our female sides. It is,
and he crossed live from an ice bath too.
Oh, he did. I'm just trying to envision him like walking up the steps of Parliament House with a cramp and a busted knee, and poor
Good luck.
29 minutes to 6.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good evening. Mel Usher with the latest news headlines. Causing death or serious harm by dangerous driving in SA will now attract more jail time. A statewide code blue is now in effect due to the wintry conditions for those sleeping rough. The communications watchdog has been given more powers to crack down on telcos not protecting their customers. And in sport, round 17 in the AFL gets underway tonight. Sydney take on Richmond at the MCG. Now checking 5AA traffic.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's
A
technician.
few heavy showers passing through, so take it nice and easy on the drive home and look out for a burst water main causing a few headaches at Paradise. Roads closed around the area of Gorge Road and Silks Road with speeds of 25. Another burst water main, this one's at Urbray, Glen Osmond Road at the bottom of the freeway, and we're slow for works at Glenman Road near Lotus Street, speeds at 40. Cumberna's Grange Road, Grange and Main North Road at Blakeview. Get 10% of your purchase price back in Amart gift card when you spend $499 or more on full-priced items. T's and C's apply. Offer only valid in store until Sunday at Amart. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, showers tonight down to 10, showers increasing tomorrow 16. Right now it's 9 degrees. We'll have more news at 6 and as it happens on 5AA.
The Kia EV6 GT. A sleek, pure electric supercar. Enjoy your flight. The Kia EV6 GT.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Disney and Cameron McIntosh's Mary Poppins is now playing at Adelaide Festival Centre for a strictly limited season. Escape into a world where anything is possible with this acclaimed new production. Don't miss your chance to experience the wonder of Mary Poppins. Book today and let the magic begin. Only through Ticketek.
All right, nobody knows paint like Crowies, and Rowie would know because he used to be a painter, and there's a thing you have to do when you love going to your Crowies store, and that's they have all the answers, so make sure you ask as many questions as you possibly
Just
can.
make sure you say Crowies, not Rowies.
Yeah, that's right. If you go to Rowies, he's probably knocking on his front door and he's going, what are you doing here?
That's all we can organise that too.
It doesn't matter what you're painting or staining, they'll be able to help. They like to ask questions as well, so they can provide you with the best solution. Doesn't matter if you're painting a chair, a door, a wall, a house, a shed, a skyscraper, call into your local Crowe store and they'll help you out. If it's timber, metal, tile, steel, render, wallpaper, you could go on. Anything, whatever you're painting, Crowe's can help, and they'll love the prices, or you'll love the prices rather too. And remember, Crowe's only sell premium quality paint, so make sure you visit crowespaints.com.au for a store near you.
We've got Shane from Drummond Golf with us. Shane, probably not a good idea to play golf if it's wet and horrible outside.
Definitely no, Tommy. Wouldn't be a lot of fun either, which is why we think all golfers out there will love our Big Swing Golf indoor simulators. Hey, it's fully endorsed by the PGA Tour and the one and only Tiger Woods, and it's at Drummond Golf Mile End. We have a room full of simulators to play golf and other sports with your mates, rain, hail or shine.
Now, I have had a crack at this and it is brilliant. There's 84 amazing courses to play and 12 other sports you can choose from. So jump online and take a look at bigswinggolf.com.au, then call your mates and head to Drummond Golf Mile End. Shane, thanks so much. We'll catch you for a quick round soon.
Absolutely looking forward to it, Tommy.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
The 5AA Sports Show, Sam Tugwell and Warren Tredrea.
It is 24 minutes to 6. We'll chat with Talia McGrath over in the UK very shortly. The women's Ashes. The Australia let go of one last night. It was pretty close. 3 runs of difference.
Got to let England win something.
But I tell you what, we could have closed it out. So nonetheless, and it could have been a sweep too, but we weren't going to try and do that. But we'd love to sweep the Aussies, the Poms in the current men's Ashes. We're 2-0 up. Third test starts tonight. And for Code Sports Live over there in Leeds, Dan Cherney joins us. Dan, welcome to the show, mate. Give us a bit of an idea of the vibe over there right now, because, geez, it sounds hostile.
Yes, good to be with you, Sam and Warren. Look, I'm actually just standing outside the entrance to where the players are about to arrive. The Australian team's arrival here is imminent. There's a little bit of a security group around just to ensure that it gets away smoothly. It's not a massive crowd sort of rolling around, but I suppose it only takes major troublemaking. It's been, I must say, I haven't found it to be overly hostile around town over the last couple of days, but that very different, of course, once they actually get out into the middle of terrace there at Headingley, which is sort of notorious, a bit like the Holly stand at Edgbaston. But so to paint a bit of the picture, Alex Carey, I saw him walking around, in theory, the number 1, number 2 villain in England, and was walking around the train station where there's a grocery store just there with his son yesterday morning, going about his business pretty unobtrusively. So, it doesn't necessarily feel all that in your face, but it could be a different story once they actually get out into the middle.
Dan, Alex Carey doesn't really strike you as the villain, does he? He's the nicest bloke in the world.
No, he's a very nice, down-to-earth, lovely guy, Alex, and it is a bit of a shame in that respect that he has sort of come off as. Look, I don't think ultimately there's all of it pantomime. There's just a bit of theatre to all of this, and as long as it doesn't overstep the mark, if it's a bit of gentle sledging and all that, it's not it's not the end of the world. But no, you're right. Alex is a very, very nice fellow from all my experience. I'm sure you guys know him well, being given he's a proud South Australian.
You mentioned the pantomime. It looks as if it's all that, and it looks as if it's a cover-up for being 0-2 on your home deck, and pitches prepared the way you wanted and lots of pressure, and they haven't been able to get Bazball going, so to speak. Is that fair?
Well, I think there is probably a bit of that. I think it is a diversionary tactic to an extent. I mean, I think that there is a general sense of affrontedness from England about the dismissal, and a genuine sense of that. And I think there are probably some cultural differences in terms of the way the game can be played here versus there. But Australia versus England. But I think to an extent there is also a bit of a diversion. They are 2-0 down, and it is a very tricky spot. And there was so much hype around Bazball coming up, and I just sort of talking to a few people around the game. It's sort of know Brendan McCullum reasonably well. Like the suggestion was that he's not averse to playing these sorts of games, and I suppose good luck to him in that respect. But I think it's a reasonable argument. And Pat Cummins, without saying as much, he sort of hinted that potentially that was the case.
Well, let's not get diverted ourselves. Let's talk about the cricket indeed. And the selection for England's been interesting. They've dropped James Anderson. A few other players have come back.
Yeah, look, Anderson's been, I suppose, dropped, rested. I mean, he's almost 41, so you can sort of excuse he's had some injury worries of late. So I think you can probably excuse him for being rested, especially given the form he's in. I think they're going to prepare him, or certainly Ben Stokes was framing it as they're preparing him for his home test in Manchester in a week or so's time, a couple of weeks' time. Ben and Josh Tongue, who was pretty good, I thought, actually, at Lords. He's also dropped out of the side, and they brought in Mark Wood, who's their quickest bowler. He's the one that probably the Aussies are most fearful of. Certainly when Wood was not named for the first test, there were a few sighs of relief from the Australian camp. I think that his pace can genuinely trouble. And they brought in Chris Wokes, who does have a very good record in England, and Moeen Ali's back. And they've, I suppose, taken away one specialist batter in Ollie Pope, who's dropped out with injury, to bolster their bowling, given Ben Stokes might not be able to bowl himself on the back of a massive workload at Lords, highlighted by that 155, but also by the fact that he bowled 12 overs consecutively, which is easily forgotten, and a lot of bounces, which clearly take a view, and he's going on one leg as it is.
Dan, were you surprised England named their team so early? And have you heard any whispers about what we'll do? Because, obviously Nathan Lyon has to be replaced, but do we change any others in the bowling lineup?
Well, not majorly surprised that England named their team early. They tended to do this in the Bazball era. In fact, they've tended to do it even 2 days out. This day was just 1 day out. So it's no great surprise. They sort of like to give everyone role clarity and I suppose not trying to keep too many secrets in that respect. Australia, for their part, confirmed he's been, and then we're just waiting to see what happens with the quicks, in particular Josh Hazlewood, who, again, injury prone and has already played a couple of tests in a row. Short turnaround between the second and third tests. Most of the quicks were on pretty light duties in the last few days, understandably so. So I think there's a strong chance that Scott Boland comes in for him, but that's yet to be confirmed. And there's just a little bit of a watch of space around Cameron Green, the all-round. Excuse me, bowled 22 overs at Lords, given Nathan Lyon's absence. So fair workload for him. He barely trained yesterday, which is not in itself a huge story necessarily, because it was an optional session on a short turnaround, but just a little bit of watch this space as to whether he's a bit too sore, and they might bring in Mitch Marshall, what would be his first test in 4 years.
It would be a pretty big call if they did that. Just before you disappear, Dan, what are the conditions like today and for the next 5 days?
Yeah, look, it's cloudy overhead, but it is England, so no great shock. But that is obviously important in terms of the swing and the ball movement. The pitch was looking reasonably green yesterday. I haven't had a good look yet so far today, but probably shave a little bit off. A bit of rain about, but I think we should. It sort of depends which forecast you look at. There are a couple of conflicting reports, but. Look, I think we probably should have enough time to get a winner. But it remains to be seen. There's a little bit of drizzle around, but I think we should be okay today.
Dan, thanks so much for your time, mate, and enjoy the cricket.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Dan Cherney, Code Sports over there in the UK. It's been wet at Wimbledon, and they're kind of they're probably 15 minutes apart, these two venues. So considering there was a day and a half of rain...
You're in England, it's summer, it will rain.
Exactly right. You're kind of hoping day one doesn't get a washout, but I think we'll be okay by the sounds of that. And it's going to be a tough test for Australia to continue taking on the short pitch bowling. It's going to be more of it, you can imagine, now bringing in Wood and Wokes as well. They want 4 pacemen and 1 spinner, and that spinner is Moeen Ali, who's going to play as a bat at number 7. So they've restructured. They're trying. Give them a barrage.
Well, if they kept the same team, then you're kidding yourself, because it hasn't worked. And I know it's got close, but it hasn't worked, so you've got to change things up. That's what all coaches do.
Trevor at Seaford.
G'day. People got the English have got short memories. 2005, when Fred Flintoff got his one and only 5 spot, 3 of them were no balls because they didn't want DRS on that series.
True.
Right? And then umpire Bentfinger, when we got within 3 runs, we were 9 down, and the ball off the glove, as long as the hand's on the bat, it's out. But the ball come off the hand that was off the bat.
Yep.
It's not out, and he gave it out. Right, again with no DRS, and that's how they won 2 of those tests. So how would they have got on with that?
Yeah, look, where's the spirit of the game back then?
Bentfinger. That's Billy
Bowden. Thank you, Trev. In the running for the $100 Barrow Hotel Group voucher. Give us a call, 8223 0000. Actually, let's do this before we go to the break. Premier Malinauskas was just talking about this before. The Beer and Barbecue Festival.
Yeah.
Well, we've got tickets for you and three mates to head along to the Beer and Barbecue Festival. It's July 14 to 16, so that's next weekend at the Adelaide Showground. 82230055. Get on the line. You can also get your tickets at beerandbarbecuefest.com.au, or you can win them here on 5AA. It is 5:45. We'll catch up with Charlie Grant very shortly from the Matildas and have the Crows and Port teams for round 17. Here's your traffic.
Got some pretty heavy showers rolling through at the moment. In fact, speeds are down to 80 on the freeway up track due to that weather. It's including near the tunnels and the Mount Barker Road exit. Bridgewater, there's a breakdown on the freeway up track near the Bridgewater ramp. And Campbelltown, look out for a crash. Lower North East Road near Gorge Road. Slow South Road at Edwardstown with cameras Cudmore Terrace, Henley Beach. And Days Road at Croydon Park. Receive the free bar screening test kit. Don't put it off. If you're aged between 50 and 74, don't get to the bathroom and get to it. It's the free test that could save your life. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
He's a key defender for the Adelaide Crows and a fan of fine films. Join Tom Duday with David and Will each week on 5AA Breakfast, thanks to Leader Computers.
Leader Computers, Australia's largest Australian-owned PC manufacturer, based right here in Adelaide.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blowing up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the team at Lynn Andrews Real Estate have made it easy to manage residential and commercial property. Whether you own a single residential home or multiple commercial properties, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge to share. How to invest safely and properly. Matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Levita, it's the absolute treasure in the West, so do yourself a favour and
I'm
pop
going
in.
there all the time.
It is a mouth-watering lunch or dinner no matter when you go. Once you have, you'll know you want to keep going back again and again and again.
Well, it's just like I do, to be honest. We go there all the time. Kids, Dad, pizza tonight, Levita? It's
How
like
good.
potato is good. And I'm
Yeah?
going off script here, don't worry, I'm getting in
no, you
trouble.
don't.
Norwood pizza, it's got lettuce and like aioli on top.
Really?
Chicken, bacon, tomato, lettuce, aioli.
You know where I'm going now.
Mate, I'm going there on the way home. Watch, my kids will start ringing me. As well as the mouth-watering Italian cuisines, the entire range of pizzas from the pizzeria, this is what I'm talking about, are all absolutely amazing. Anthony fires up the pizza oven from 5, so you can dine in or grab a couple takeaway on your way home, which is exactly what I'll be doing tonight.
That is
now.
awesome. Besides the amazing food as well, the best part about Levita has to be the warm, friendly family atmosphere. Rachel, Anthony and the entire team, they treat everyone like family.
Absolutely, and it's a perfect place too for a function. So if you've got an 18th, 21st birthday, 40th birthday, christening, engagement, sporting club celebrations, Payneham Nord Union Footy Club, big sponsors of Payneham Nord Footy Club, always do their farewell there, and they can cater up to 200 guests with 3 separate areas available, and heaters too.
That is the best I've ever heard. Levita, it's open Tuesday to Sunday for lunch and dinner. Go to 342 on Grange Road, Kidman Park. You know you'll love it.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $17 schnitzel days at the Albion Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $17 schnitties Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Albion Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place. One schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau hotel.
If Australians invented crunchy chicken with a creamy garlic filling, we might have called it chicken Coolangatta, or perhaps chicken Cootamundra. Thankfully, we didn't. Chicken Kiev, now only $7.49 for a 4-pack at Aldi. Good. Different.
If you'll need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide. Factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows. States.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
The FIVEAA Sports Show, Sam Tugwell and Warren Tredrea.
It's 11 minutes to 6. We'll chat to Talia McGrath very shortly. And Johnny Letts is in the studio with the Melbourne Cup, the 2023 Lexus Melbourne Cup. It is a glorious looking thing. It's going to come in the case. It's worth a lot of money.
$600,000.
Make sure you wear a glove, the white glove, okay?
You're not allowed to touch it.
You're not allowed to touch it. No.
It's gold.
It's amazing.
$600,000 in gold.
18 carats.
He might not get out alive. Got some bills to pay.
Hey, you know what's coming up very, very soon? We're going to speak to Charlie Grant from the Matildas, but quickly, you've got Port Adelaide's team in front of you.
Yeah, little birdie texts me through. Out, Vicentini, Burgoyne and Bonner. I'm hearing Narkle sub. Jones, Hayes, Rioli back in. So Rioli missed for personal circumstances. Jones back from that broken, I think it's cheekbone or jaw.
Yep.
And Sam Hayes been pushed into the ruck. So sadly for young Dante Vicentini, he's out after his debut.
And just quickly for the Crows, 5 inclusions to their squad: Scholl, Parnell, Schonberg, Himmelberg and Borlase. So looking forward to maybe an announcement tomorrow if he's been included. But's obviously the one out as with the concussion. Let's talk to our next guest, and we are so excited to have her a part of the Matildas campaign for the Home World Cup, which starts in 2 weeks exactly to the day here in Australia. We speak of our very own Charlotte Grant. Charlie, welcome, and how good is it to be a part of the Matildas squad for a Home World Cup?
Thanks so much for having me on, guys. Yeah, it's unreal. I'm so excited to just get back in Australia and be with the team. I think to have a World Cup on home soil is something that doesn't come around very often. So, yeah, we're all pumped and hopefully we can make the nation proud.
You're 15 players who've played in a World Cup before, but only 7 of you making a World Cup debut. You are one of them. Talk us through the emotions that overwhelm you at the moment.
Yeah, it was very emotional first getting that call up from Tony. I think there's been a lot of hard work and sacrifice going to this ever since I've grown up, not only from myself but my family and friends. So yeah, it means the world to me to be part of this team, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to being part of this experience.
Charlie, congratulations. One, making your debut for the Aussie team is simply brilliant, and you did that back in September 2021 versus the Republic of Ireland. Also went to the Olympics, but this is the biggest of the big, isn't it? Do you need to kick yourself or what? Like an Adelaide girl, played at United. Now, FC Rosengard, you know, been out on loan, but you're playing for the team you've probably always dreamed of playing as a little girl. Can you take us through just the thoughts and the apprehension and what you're thinking about every day? I'd assume it'd consume you right now.
Yeah, when you break it down like that, I definitely have to pinch myself. It's crazy how much has changed over the past few years. But yeah, it's an absolute honour to be part of this team. Ever since I knew you could represent your country at the age of, I think I was about 7 or 8, and I've dreamed of this. So to now be playing alongside some of my idols is, yeah, a dream come true, and something I don't take lightly.
You would have sat back and seen earlier in the year, our Aussie men's team did so well at the Men's World Cup. You've got to be prepared. The Aussies are going to get behind you like we did our men, and you know, particularly on home soil. That must be really exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I remember seeing, actually, I was just coming home from Sweden at that time and seeing all the different support they got around in different states, and to think that we actually have that World Cup on our home soil and people can actually attend our games is incredible. And to have our first game sold out for over 80,000 people is amazing. And yeah, we're all really grateful for everyone's support.
I'm not sure if you're following all the other sports around at the moment. We've got Aussies doing really well. Hindley in the Tour de France. We've got the Ashes, we're leading 2-0. The women are going really well. But you scored against the arch rival England in a friendly recently. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just an awesome feeling beating England. I think you can't take that one away. But I think, yeah, scoring a goal, I mean, representing my country is a huge honour. And then to get a goal is, yeah, I think made it feel even more real. It was amazing how much support I had both from my team and friends back home. But, yeah, getting that win over England, it felt so good.
And for spending most of your career overseas, you get the chance to play in front of your home fans. Biggest question, how many tickets are you getting hit up for? Because everyone's got tight friends who want free tickets and family who want to come along and support you.
Yeah, I've actually had to use up nearly all my tickets for every game. It's really nice. All my family travelling to each game, and cousins and grandparents. So to have them there is really special. And they haven't grown up as soccer supporters, so to have them there is even more special.
Any randoms come out of the woodwork you haven't heard from in years?
New friends?
Well, I have had some friends from school and stuff just asking about the games and stuff. I don't think they're trying to seek for tickets, but but it's just nice to hear so many people get around our team and around the sport.
And how's been playing in Sweden the last little while?
Yeah, I love it over here. It's been it's been an awesome journey. I think I started off at Rosengård, now at FIVEAA, and I got to play alongside Katrina Gorry and Claire Folkinghorn. So it's nice to have Aussies away from home. It makes it feel like a second home over here, and we're getting some good results. So I've got one more game on Sunday, and then I'll head into camp with the girls beginning of next week.
It's going to be super exciting. You get to walk out alongside Sam Kerr, just quickly, the captain of the team. What a great role model she must be.
Yeah, she's an incredible role model. I think she leads on and off the pitch. The things she's done for Australian football is incredible, and I just love that she's just herself and is still so humble, even though she's got some of the highest accolades. So, it's an honour to share the field with her.
Charlie, we see with Sam Kerr, we see a lot of soccer celebrations over the years. Neymar, you pick anyone in the world. Ronaldo does the point. Have you got something special you've been practicing? Because I know you're going to score.
I mean, it's not often I score, so when I scored against England, I didn't really know what to do. So maybe I have to ask Sam for some tips. I don't think a backflip will be on the cards, though.
Oh, come on. You got time to learn. Hey, Charlie, thanks so much for joining us.
Get on the trampoline practice.
It can't be that hard, can it? Charlie, best of luck. We can't wait to see you take the field in front of 80,000 in the very first game against Ireland in 2 weeks' time. Go well.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
Oh, let's hope we can lift some silverware. And Charlie and this team, this is going to be an exciting campaign. And you know what? I can see it already. That 80,000 at Stadium Australia in Sydney, that very first night. It'll be like the 3 years ago when the Women's T20 World Cup at the G, they had that moment.
Crazy.
It'll be the same for women's soccer.
And effectively, we're in that similar bracket. We're one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Our team, like as good as our men went in the World Cup,
we
were great that we got through to the next stage. But we're expecting so much because our girls are so good. Like, they are world class. Our guys are world class, but we knew we were going to struggle against the Portugals and Argentinas and the really big teams, in the long run. But our girls are genuinely in with a chance of putting up the trophy on home soil.
It's not outlandish, it's realistic. And that, I think, is the most exciting
No
part
pressure.
for Charlie and the team.
No
so
pressure.
Go well, our Aussies. We can't wait to see some success. It is a couple of minutes to 6. We'll get to the news. Talia McGrath to join us next.
5AA Breakfast.
You know, the day you guys called me after Rosie was born, on that very next morning, I crossed on the street. There's a fertility clinic across the road there. There was a couple walking out, arm in arm, in tears.
Informing Adelaide.
The most exciting moment of my entire life. And these guys wanted that. And through just dumb luck and just the cruelty of fate, we were having, on that day and in that moment, crossing the same street, having the most opposite experience.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Love Craft? Love Craft Alive Adelaide. Book your ticket now. Love shopping classes and displays at Craft Alive Adelaide. Classes include fabric collage, English paper piecing, textile art, free motion quilting, applique, embroidery, fabric painting, card making and scrapbooking. Plus yarn, lace, fabric, furniture and storage, sewing machines, long arm machine and paper craft retailers. Learn, shop and be inspired. Craft Alive runs the 7th to 9th of July at Adelaide Showground, featuring the SA Quilters Festival of Quilts exhibition. Buy tickets at craftalive.com.au.
Say g'day to Paving SA for stunning paved driveways, paths and entertaining areas. Say g'day to Paving SA for concreted driveways and paths. Say g'day to Paving SA for earth moving. And say g'day to Paving SA for retaining walls. Whether you're building or renovating, you'll find the team at Paving SA courteous, honest and on time. For paving, retaining walls, earth moving and concreting, say g'day to Paving SA. pavingsa.com.au.
Let New Zealand take your breath away on an exclusive 17-day getaway with Holiday Wonders Mitcham. Fly direct from Adelaide with Air New Zealand and experience the best of what the North and South Islands have to offer, with meals, accommodation and so much more included, and more highlights than any comparable New Zealand trips. Right now, it's our best value ever. Save up to $980 per couple. Call now or visit holidaywonders.com.au. Holiday Wonders, Belair Road, Mitcham.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers tonight down to 10, showers increasing tomorrow 16. With the 6 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
Get 10-year warranty and 10 years capped price servicing on the new Mitsubishi Outlander at Agostino Mitsubishi.
New road safety laws are being rubber-stamped in state parliament. They focus on death or serious harm by dangerous driving. The maximum penalty jumps from 12 months imprisonment to 5 years for a basic offence and 7 years for an aggravated offence. Changes also include a new licence class for people who drive ultra-high-powered vehicles. The reforms come in the wake of Sophia Naismith's death at Glengowrie in 2019. Her father Luke welcoming the changes.
The reforms won't bring Sophia back, but it will make drivers more accountable for their antisocial behaviour, and it will reduce some of the trauma of families navigating the legal system.
St Kilda coach Ross Lyon has described the leaking of explicit images of footballers without their consent as nasty. 45 past and present players have been targeted, prompting an investigation by the AFL Integrity Unit and eSafety Commission. Lyon feels for those involved, but says the scandal serves as a reminder for players to be careful what they share.
I wish all the best for those players, and the authorities take care of it, but it's nasty, isn't it? It's nasty.
Is there any of your players?
Our current list, my understanding is no, fortunately, but it's a shot over the bow for everybody to, be always at risk.
The Prime Minister is playing down comments from a senior government member who called Donald Trump's son a big baby. Zach De Silva has the story.
Good evening, America. I'm Donald Trump Jr.
The son of former US President Donald Trump has made a name for himself as a conservative public speaker. He had planned a 3-city tour of Australia, but that's now been postponed. Organisers are blaming issues with Mr Trump Jr.'s visa, but Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says it was processed in the usual way.
The deferral of his travel is a matter for him.
The Home Affairs Minister has gone on the attack on social media, calling Mr Trump Jr. a sore loser. Claire O'Neill has since deleted the tweets. The opposition says the comments are childish and juvenile.
Telcos are being put on notice for failing to support consumers struggling to pay their bills. The communications watchdog wants more to be done to help those experiencing financial hardship. ACMA's Nerida O'Loughlin says a review found the industry